Hello and welcome once more to the Eclipse Lab channel, the best channel in all of YouTube called Eclipse Lab. And today I can finally present you my last purchase, my CL500 W215. I think this is my true dream Mercedes-Benz because I love its design. I know many don't like this new phase of Mercedes. It's not new anymore, it's already 20 years old car. But anyway, many people say it was some breakdown with the former Mercedes quality. And I don't think so. I think this car is very well built. I see some minuses comparing to my last big coupe like this, W140. But this is a gorgeous car. It compensates for everything the others one have and this doesn't. And to be honest with you, it's just minor stuff like the double glazing. It's a little bit thinner than the last one. A little bit of plastics, but anyway, still Mercedes buttons. There's this explained ABC system. I know for many this is a pain in the ass because this is some kind of cursed technology. But in reality, when it's working, it works great. I already drive it, I already make some fast corners and the car doesn't incline at all. This really is like magic. And I love this system. One day, of course, this is gonna bring me a huge headache, but I'm already reading and learning how to fix it by myself. And as a matter of fact, you win together with me, right? Because I will put videos and show everything in detail how they should be fixed if it ever get broken, and I hope not. So I'm in this beautiful park here in Curitiba, Paraná, as you can see. Again, a sunny day, and I will show you my CL500 from the outside. Maintenant, je vous présente, behold, one of the most beautiful Mercedes coupes ever made, for my taste at least. As a curiosity, the silver color was the most classic color for Benzes, a color made famous by the Silver Arrow race cars. According to the legend, they've run races after being lighter, having their paint removed, and bare metal, of course, is silver. Do you believe in that? One of my favorite quirks of this model is how the door is hinged. Look how it works. It makes the front edge of the door goes outwards and then forwards. This is for making room for opening the door in the closed space. Maybe my only car which came in mint condition, so as I consider. Now the trunk, a good sized space for stuff, complete with sets of tools, and of course, as it always should be, a CD changer in the boot, or trunk for you from the US. And let's see what we have inside this change. Oh, death, lepers! I really recommend you that. This is very good, heavy shit. We have also closing assistance in the trunk. The lid closes by itself, and of course, as the W140 was, on the doors. It's nice, right? So let's go for a ride now. Hi guys, it's not a POV, but I'm showing inside the car while I'm driving. And a quick explanation of the CL500. It's a tradition from Mercedes to make a coupe version of the S-Class, the highest model in the chain of Mercedes chains. And this one is my favorite in design. I always have noticed that this W215 probably was based on the W111. It has some design clues that really resembles it, and I think I was right because with this car came a book, a Mercedes book telling the story of the CL and so on, and they compare the design clues which inspired them to make this car here. I know many people don't like this period of Mercedes, especially because they were in a joint venture with Chrysler. But I have nothing to complain. It's not my first car from this era. I had also a W208 CLK. It was a perfect car. I never had something so reliable and cheap to maintain as the CLK. And also I had a CLS 500. This one was not so much reliable, but it was a very okay car too. And things I like a lot about this car. This car came with a fridge on the back seat. Man, this is amazing. I bought this car in a city that sits I think about 1,000 kilometers from here, and I drove it back home. And it was perfect to have a refrigerator, to bring my water, to bring my Red Bull. It was great. I could stop on the road. Unfortunately, I can't reach it from here, from the front seat. Maybe it should stay here, but stay there between the back seats. And hidden, of course. It's a Mercedes. But anyway, I could drink cold water, cold Red Bull, stop in the middle of the road. I couldn't wish for more. And also, this car has a massage seat and full orthopedic seat too, with a adjust for the back, for the lower back, for the seat, for the bolsterings, everything. Also has memory seats, cooling seats, heated seats. It's perfect. This massage seat is actually, I think it's not working properly because I can't feel anything when activated, of course. And but I hear some ticking noises there. Maybe air is escaping. I couldn't have time yet to check it. I couldn't even check if the passenger seat is working because I have lots of things to do lately. I don't work just with the YouTube. Actually, I don't even work with the YouTube. I just like to make videos. Another thing I like very much is the steering wheel with the wood. I know this is nothing new for Mercedes, but it's my first Mercedes with that. On my W140, I wanted so much of this. It was on my list to buy, but I couldn't find the original one. It was always something made and fake on the YouTube. I don't mean that this is bad, but I like everything original. And this is my first car, and I really like this. It looks amazing. It looks very nice. And also it's very nice in here with this Alcantara roof and leather dashboard. I can't understand why people say this car was made with less quality than the others. It's just more complex. It's everything. It's normal for things. I think, in my opinion, Apple laptops used to be much better before than nowadays. I think things get more complex, and of course it brings more problems with this complexity, but also brings lots of cool things. If you ask for an older Mercedes fan, and he'll say that nothing after the W126 is good. And if you talk with an even older person, he'll say nothing after the W116 is good. And some people nowadays of my age say nothing's better than W140, but the older guy says W140 is trash. And I think it's the same case with this car. People who comes and begin to like Mercedes after this, you say, W215 was the best car. It's just people use it to things of their time, and it's hard to get used to things. I like classic Mercedes. I prefer classic Mercedes actually, but I wouldn't. This doesn't stop me having a new one. The only thing that stops me having a new one is the money. I think it doesn't work because depreciation and all taxes and everything else. And but I think this here and the W216 I think is the best thing you can have on this family of CL classes. Coming from Porto Alegre, where the city where I bought it, I feel some small vibration coming from the floor of the car under hard acceleration. Also, this message seat, as I said, I don't know if it's working. And this car came with keyless entry and keyless go. The key is like a credit card shaped. It looks very nice. I like Imagine this 20 years ago, how extraordinary this is, as more simple it seems. But the function keyless go doesn't work. I know the keys are working, replaced the batteries, they lock and unlock the door with just by approximation, but the button here to press, the switch to press and start the engine doesn't work. I made some researches on the internet and I found out that it's just a small cable that runs inside the shifter that gets broken with time. And imagine the shit moving all the time, and with a wire inside, it's a thin wire, it doesn't last long. So I'm going to tend this, it'll be one more video of course. And because also I need to disassemble this whole dash here, the center console. And because as I do with all my Mercedes-Benz, I take the radio for making a Bluetooth adaptation. This way I keep the original radio and have more functions, more comfort while I'm driving. As I remember, I think these, or as I found out, these are the only problems this car has until now. And I'm pretty happy with that. Of course, I have lots of maintenance, preventive maintenance to do, to flush the ABC fluid, to change the oils, every oil of the car, to replace fuel pump, something I don't like to rely on. This car came with the whole history, all maintenance made in the dealer. But anyway, I don't trust old fuel pumps. I prefer to replace them, especially because this car has just one. And especially because it's not so much expensive, so this is one of preventive maintenance I'm going to do too. Change the filters, gearbox oil and fluid and filter. And all of this, I think, will bring contents for my channel, and hope I can entertain you with that. So with that said, let's check the car's quirks, and like how Doug DeMuro said, let's check the quirks and features of Mercedes CL 500. Hi again. So it's finally time to find out if this was a good business or not. Let's take a look on this car underneath, because the underneath side is the side who tells the real stories of how the car was treated. As you can see, it seems this car is in a very good shape underneath it. There are even few scratches. It's just dirty. The exhaust system is the original one. Here it's a panel under the spare tire. No leaks or wetness in the differentials. All bushing seems fine, but I actually hear some noise coming from one of these bushings. According to the god of internet, the bushing on the lower shock or strut bushing tends to fail and needs to be replaced. I start from that because it's rather cheap. But all protections on the arms are in place, wires are good. This one, I suspect it was shaking more than it should. Seems to be fine too. Probably the problem is coming from the tires. The tires that came in this car are made from the first grade Chinesium. So I think it's the first place to start with. Control arm seems to be fine. CV boot seems to be fine. All panels are in place. No signs of leaking. Someone greased the parking brake. I don't know if it's factory greasy, but probably it's not. Even screws and nuts are fine. Seems to be a very new car. And here hoses from the ABC system. It seems to be fine too. I know good part of this ABC system sits underneath this cover there. Some valves and spheres. Let's take a look in the middle of the car. Here you can see catalytic converters. Gearbox completely dry. No leakings. Protections are in place. Everything clean. Wires are good. Exhausters are good. Under shields are in place and fine. Seems to have been a very good deal.
I detect some wetness here close to the front shocks. First I thought the shocks, the ABC was leaking, but seems it's not, because around the shocks it's completely dry. I see there is some place for lubrication here, and probably some lubricant spilled over and make this wet. I have to check Mercedes manual because I never saw a Mercedes with lubrication points on the suspension, except the very old ones, but on the CL this was really unexpected. You can see here part of the steering box. The brakes seems to be fine. Arms, bushings, everything seems to be good. You can see some slight wetness here under the engine. It can be leaking or can be just for refilling oil that spilled, I don't know, I have to check yet. And finally here we have the engine. It's the M113 Mercedes that equips CLK, CLS, E-Class and CL Class, also S classes. It's a very versatile engine, very reliable. It doesn't consume too much fuel, of course, for a car of this size. And even here seems to be everything fine. I don't know if it is up to date, but if it is, the brake fluid is rather old, from 2011. We're gonna replace this soon. Also, this M113 still have the oil dipstick. Newer versions doesn't have it, and this sucks, of course. And also has the gearbox. No, the dipstick actually doesn't have it. This is just a cap. A dipstick you should buy as a tool if you want to change the fluid by yourself. And one thing that bothers me very much, I forgot to mention, as a defect of this car, is that this struts that holds the hood open is already broken, and I have to improvise with this bar there. It came from a broom. Here we have the AC condenser, also a radiator for oil, probably for oil from gearbox or ABC system, I don't know. This is oil radiator. Hoses are still original, Mercedes. And I think that's all. One quirk I liked a lot of this car is where they place the fuel filler cap. I think it looks very nice in this position here. Also this glass here, this long glass and round, it's very cool. For me it's a very, very beautiful car. And I'm very glad for having bought it. I suspect those things are gonna getting up in value. Not anytime, probably pretty soon, because they are hard. I know in the US they are sold a lot, but I think in the rest of the world not so much. They are pretty rare and good cars, and believe me, they are reliable. So guys, once more, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button and hit the bell for notifications, because this is the food for YouTube channels. You know, I think it's rather boring to ask this all the time, but for YouTube only we offer this channel for other people if you do that for me, so please help me. And guys, that's all for today. Love you very much, and don't forget, keep on driving always. And today, to make things a little different, I'm gonna make a compliment for you and show the Automobile Museum here in the city of Curitiba. And as you can see, it's a harder place worth visiting. These are race cars of Brazilian stock car. This is a category we use it to call Copa Maserati. They use those incredible 3,200 Maserati coupes, and this one is the 4,300 Maserati coupes.
I love this truck. This is a Brazilian car, it's a Brazilian brand that doesn't exist anymore, but they created this car. Actually, I'm not sure if it was just a concept or it was for sale. It's called the Aurora. It's another beautiful car, well proportioned and loosely based on the Ferrari F40. And that time here we couldn't import any car, so we had lot of small local brands that made those such kind of sports cars by themselves. Some were really successful and some not so much. This Aurora brand, I think it was not so much successful. We rarely see them, but it looked rather good. I suspect it's made of fiberglass and used a GM 4-cylinders engine. The same one, I think it was used in some Pontiac from the 80s, and European car. Here it was called Monza, but I think in Europe it was called Cadete.
The Automobile Museum of Curitiba is located just in front of one of the most famous tourist spots in the city, the Barigui Park. If you wish to come here and see them, spare at least half a day for visit them both. The collection is varied, the arrangement they've made it doesn't follow a logical order. I think cars are divided by proprietor, since this was built by a society formed by a group of friends. But anyway, it is totally worth a visit, especially because it's going to set you back just about $5. It's 20 reais. And if you're not from Brazil, you'll see some cars that existed just in here, which you will enrich your car knowledge, of course. There are about 150 cars in total that you will take turns in the 70 existing spots inside. So if you make the visit more than once, you'll probably find different vehicles on the stands. The museum's website is in the video description for you to see and find all information you need. And I won't show you everything, of course, because I want you to see it with your own eyes. And if you watched my video about must-drive roads late in America,
You now know what to do after you finish the road, and just take a look to the karting here. So let's go home and thank you for watching.